So, in the month of February, I had 28 books to showcase on my book haul, and I thought, you know what, in March, I'm not doing that again. I'm not buying 28 books because it was such a long video. So this month, I have 26 to show you. Let's get into it. Hello everyone, welcome back to A Fictional Escapist. Today's video is my March book haul. I've got 26 books to showcase today in this here book haul, split straight down the middle of ebooks and physical purchases, so I have 13 of each. Jumping into the ebooks first, I'm going to try and churn these out as quickly as possible because there are a lot of them, while remembering to enunciate so you can understand me, as I am a mumbler. I will preface this by saying a lot of these are self-published or indie authors this month. I make a point of buying self-pub and indie authors every month just to try and put some support out there in the world for those authors, and quite frankly they are some of the best stories that I've read over the past 12 to 18 months since I've been getting back into fantasy. So if you're looking at picking up another self-pub or indie author, then this list may be a great place to get some ideas. I'm going to do ebooks first and then physical. Jumping into the books. The first book that I bought in the month of March was the Seventh Cadence by Jim Wilborn. This is the Continua Chronicles Book 1, and just have a look at that cover. It is bad. So that is like a dragon or basilisk or something that I do not want to face on the front of this cover. All these blurbs are taken from either Amazon or Goodreads, so you can also go ahead and read them there. This one says, after a supernatural and unforeseen calamity shatters the tentative alliance of the Five Realms, the Dezeran Dominion has returned to take back their homeland and restore their oppressive regime. As the Dominion readies their troops for invasion, the fate of the entire world rests in the hands of a fugitive scientist, a powerful pacifist, and an unseasoned prince with little to guide them but their own ideas. With the freedom of a kingdom at risk, each must find their place in a world torn asunder. I love me some entourage, some groups with different dynamics. I just like the whole group thing. It's the part of me that wants to play D&D, and I just love some lit RPGs, so this sounds right up my alley. The next one that I picked up was The Other Magic by Derek Smythe. This is Passage to Dawn Book 1. The men secured the shackles slowly, hesitantly, but Kibur did not resist. He couldn't. Whatever otherworldly power had come over him in those moments of passion had fled his body the second he realized what he had done. In a realm where only clerics are permitted to practice magic, Kibur's inexplicable use of power places him in grave danger. In a twist of fate, the rogue priestess, hired to strip him of his power, chooses instead to help him escape. Her reasons for doing so are her own. Something worse than death awaits if they are unable to evade the Empire's most potent wielders. Again, sounds cool. Bit of a group dynamic. We've got someone with power who shouldn't have power, and someone who's going to help them rather than strip them. It sounded pretty cool to me, so I picked this one on up. The next two I'm not going to talk too much about because I have gone over them at length in other videos. That is The Iron Crown by L.L. McCree. This is book 1 in the Dragon Spirits series, and it says Fenn's first and only memory is finding himself in the middle of a forest, face to face with a dragon spirit mocking him, all knowledge gone apart from his own name. I really enjoyed The Citron Key, which was the prequel novella to this story, and I'm looking forward to jumping into this one soon. The second one is Doors of Sleep by Tim Pratt. I did pick that one up in the month of March as well, but I have gone over that one at length in the wrap-up and also the reading vlog, so check those out if you want to. The next one I picked up was Reign and Ruin by J.D. Evans. This is Mages of the Wheel Book 1. Now, I am not a romance reader, but I have picked up a couple of fantasy romance books off NetGalley this year that I haven't hated, so I thought maybe I would give the fantasy romance genre another try with something that has been self-published. So this is book 1, and I think there's like 5 or 6 books in this series, but I've just picked up the first one to see how we go. And the blurb says, all magic is beautiful and terrible. Do you not see the beauty in yours or the terror in mine? You can stop a heart and I can stop your breath. She is heir to the Sultanate that once ruled the world. He is an unwanted prince with the power to destroy. She is order and intellect, a woman fit to rule in a man's place. He is chaos and violence and will stop at nothing to protect his people. His magic answers hers with shadow for light. They need each other, but the cost of balance may be too high a price. Magic is dying, and the only way to save it is to enlist mages who wield the forbidden power of death. Mages cast out centuries ago in a brutal and bloody war. Now a new war is coming, science and machines to replace magic and old religion. That sounds cool. They must find a way to save their people from annihilation and balance the sacred wheel, but first they will have to balance their own forbidden passion. His peace for her tempest, his restlessness for her calm. Night and day, dusk and dawn, the end and the beginning. It sounds cool, but it also sounds tropey, so we'll see how we go. We'll see how that gels with my cold, dead heart. The next one I picked up was Sentinels Awaken by Helen Garraway, book 1 in a series of the same name. It says, a 3,000-year-old threat re-emerges. As a 3,000-year-old threat re-emerges, only one man has the power to awaken the world's greatest protectors and restore order to the realm. He just doesn't know it yet. When Gerald Haven, a captain in the King Rangers, discovers treason at the highest level, he knows immediately that the knowledge will put his life at risk. And indeed, though he expected the ailing king to shield him, the ambitious crown prince sentences Gerald to death. What hold does the prince have over his weakened father, and who or what is he protecting? With the signs that the veil is weakening and the ascendants are creeping back into power, Lady Leandri has returned as in dire need of Gerald's help. For though he doesn't know it, Gerald possesses a rare gift. By chance, he touches a revered sentinel tree and awakens a word I can't pronounce, one of the lady's personal guard who have been sleeping in the strange tall trees since they were last called to battle. Aided by Valerian, I'm going to go with, Gerald flees and begins his journey to help Lady Leandri save Remagerin once more. I hope all that made sense. I couldn't pronounce half of the words in it, but it sounds cool. I saw this one on a friend's Instagram and was like, I might pick that one up. It sounds like it could be a good time. The next one I got was Rise of the Ranger by Philip C. Quintrell, I hope I pronounced that right, which is the Echo Saga book number 1. This is quite a long-running series, I believe. I think there's I don't know how many books there are, but more than a trilogy. And it says, the echoes of fate, a prophecy uttered onto the world 1,000 years ago, cannot be denied. Mankind has lorded over the land of Ilion for 1,000 years, building on the ruins left by the elves as if it were their birthright. 1,000 years is a long time for an immortal race to see the truth of things, a truth that has remained unsaid for a millennium. Elves are superior. They are faster, stronger, and connected to the magical realm in a way that man could never grasp. Ilion should belong to them. Unaware of the shadow that looms in the east, the 6 kingdoms of man are fractured, unallied, and clawing at each other's gates for more power. This isn't just war set to ravage the land, but a slaughter. The world of man cannot hope to survive. Thrown into the heart of this war is a man known by many names, an outlander of the wilds, an assassin, a ranger. Asher was born 1,000 years ago to a life he doesn't remember. 40 years of brutal training and killing for money has beaten the earliest years of his life away, leaving his ties to the oldest evils, a mystery to all. Sounds cool. If I like it, there's a lot of books in the series, so that's always a good thing. The next one I picked up was 100% a cover buy. I saw a company that does cover art advertised. I've got no idea what the name is now, but this was the book as part of the advertisement. I thought that was a cool cover, so I picked up Book of Shadow by Bruce Blake, Curse of the Unnamed, Book 1. That's also a very cool series name. It says, Lyris Filderay is an outcast tainted by a sliver of magic in a world terrified of the supernatural. Loathed and distrusted, she uses her ability to control a magic unnamed to survive. Cedric Carpera is desperate to save his son from a deadly illness. He enlists Lyris to locate a lost tome containing secrets capable of healing him, but its location is a mystery that's already claimed lives. Thrust into a hostile world, Lyris and her companions risk everything to find the relic and return before the child's sickness prevails. But who is the enigmatic old man who appeared out of nowhere to set them on this dangerous expedition, and what does he really want? Only a perilous mission to an untamed land can save the boy and reveal the truth, except some truths are too shocking to be exposed. I have no idea when I'm going to get to this one. Cover was cool. It sounds alright. It'll be put on the list at some point in the future. Okay, the next one, I am so intimidated by its size, and after being burned by Illborn in the month of March, I bought this on ebook to try it out, but if I like it, I will fork out the $50 for the hardcover because it is stunning. And that is We Break Immortals by Thomas Howard Riley. This is the Advent Lumina book number 1. A drug addict who hunts sorcerers down by tracking their magic, the most renowned swordsman no one has ever heard of, and a thieving, magic-wielding woman hell-bent on revenge collide during a last-ditch effort to stop an insane, superhuman serial killer from making himself a god. I'm in. It sounds so good. The wise run from them. Swords are useless against them. Only the fearless dare pursue them. Rogue magic users are the most dangerous people in the world. When one of them finds a way to become luminous and break into the source of all magic, even their own kind will join the pursuit. It sounds like it could be up here, but I think it's something like 1,000 pages on the ebook and about 780 pages in the physical book, and that intimidates me. So I bought it on ebook because it was like $5, and if it's any good, I'll get the hardback because it is stunning. This cover is amazing. Alright, next up we have The Forever King by Ben Galley. Ben Galley is an author that I'm very interested in. This was part of the self-published blog-off that Mark Lawrence runs a couple of years ago, and it says, a brutal war against a vast empire, an immortal mage, a trickster god with chaos in mind, and a girl with the future of the world in her hands. The Forever King is the start of an epic fantasy saga in the vein of Stephen Erickson, Joe Abercrombie, and John Gwynne. I've only read Abercrombie, but I'm interested in the other 2 authors on that list, so keen to give this one a go as well. The last few of the ebooks that I picked up were horror novellas. I do like getting my horror novellas or short books on digital because some of them are hit and miss, but I've got a couple that sounded really cool to me. The first one is Dirty Heads by Aaron Dries. This is a coming-of-age horror novella. The story of a boy who dreamed becoming a man, but dreamed up a monster instead. It sounds very cool, 150 pages, it's not a huge commitment, and it sounds like it's on the weird side of things, which the cover will tell you as well, so I'm looking forward to reading that at some point in the future. The next one I picked up was The Watchers by A.M. Shine. This is a spine-chilling Irish horror adventure set in the remote and sinister forests. Of Ireland. You can't see them, but they can see you. The forest isn't charted on any map. Every car breaks down at its tree line. Minna's is no different. Left stranded, she is forced into the dark woodland only to find a woman shouting, urging Minna to run to the concrete bunker. As the door slams behind her, the building is besieged by screams. Minna finds herself in a room with a wall of glass, an electric light that activates at nightfall when the Watchers come above ground. These creatures emerge to observe their captive humans, and terrible things happen to anyone who doesn't reach the bunker in time. Afraid and trapped among strangers, Minna is desperate for answers. Who are the Watchers, and why are these creatures keeping them imprisoned? Keen to watch their every move. It sounds creepy as heck, and I can't wait to jump in. Even the cover. I love this sort of horror story, this sort of folklore horror. Ireland, I can imagine, very cold, dense trees. I'm here. I'm living for this story. In fact, this one's like going up on my TBR. I'm saying it now. At some point this year, I'll read The Watchers. And the last ebook that I picked up was Price Manor, The House That Burns by Mike Salt. This is the first installment of the Price Manor series by the Deadline Horror Collective. Mike Salt conjures a grisly tale of love, loss, and buildings that shouldn't be. As a wildfire rips through Steelhead, a small group flees the blaze, only to discover a mansion with dark walls in the wake of the fire. A mansion that wasn't there before. Soon they'll discover that the evils of this house are far more dangerous than anything outside. I've had some hit and misses with horror stories that involve some sort of haunted house situation. So I don't know when I'm getting to this. I'm willing to give it a go. The cover's pretty cool, which you can see up here. those were the ebooks. Let's move on to the physical books that I have bought. Again, I'm going to try and go through these pretty quickly because we've already been here for like 20 minutes at this point. At least I have. I don't know about you when I edit this down. First two I picked up. Oh, actually, ironically, the last two I picked up, but the first two off the list are Ancillary Sword and Ancillary Mercy. These are by Anne Leckie. These are books 2 and 3 in the Ancillary Justice trilogy. I think that's what the trilogy is called. I don't know. But I picked those two up. I can't say too much about them because I don't want to give spoilers away for book number 1. The rest of this list, bar 1, are all self-pub or indie authors, which are just authors that go through very small publishing houses. And a lot of them are on the, or were on the PFBO finalist list, like this one, which is where I remembered that acronym. This is We Men of Ash and Shadow. This is a book written by H.L. Tinsley. It says, there was a thin line between control and chaos. At least the people that Vanguard killed were real criminals, perverts, rapists, and murderers. Nobody would lose any sleep over their deaths. Vanguard never did. Amidst the gas lamp shadows, former soldier turned mercenary John Vanguard hunts criminals at the behest of his corrupt employer, Captain Felix Sanquay. I'm going to read the whole blurbs of these. There are a lot to get through. I've heard very good things about We Men of Ash and Shadow. I don't know when I'm going to get to it. It is fairly short though. The next one I picked up was Paternus by Dirk Ashton. So this series, this trilogy, has been floating around. That's quite a glary cover, so I'm hoping that you can see that. It's got some big beastie in the back and some dude with like this light spear on the bottom, which looks pretty cool. It's been doing the rounds. I've heard really good things about books 2 and 3. They pick up the pace and it gets better and better, and that big beastie's got me intrigued. It says, even myths have legends, and not all legends are myth. The gods and monsters, heroes and villains of lore, they're real, and they're coming back to finish a conflict that's been raging since the dawn of time. This has got some really cool artwork on the back. It's probably too dark to see in the light, but it's got different animals from lore and different symbols. But yeah, I'm very curious about Paternus and this series, so I'm hoping that a lot of these will be read either this year or next year, going into 2023. The next one that I picked up was Ostracized. This is by Olivia Majors, and that symbol at the top caught my eye. I like those red and blue and like the dark and the light coming together. It intrigued me enough to pick this one on up. It says, to defy is treason, treason is banishment, and banishment is death. When 17-year-old Carla Bone refuses to become a political pawn in a national ruler's quest for supremacy, she is branded a traitor and banished behind the wall surrounding her homeland. Forced to choose between survival and death, she struggles to carve out a new existence in the vast wasteland known only as the Wilds. But nothing is as it seems. Kyla must battle against the dark forces determined to destroy her. She must continue to defy those who would remove her right to make her own choices. She must redefine who she is and fight against the fears that threaten to enslave her. And above all, Kyla must learn to look past the mark on her shoulder that says she is alone and where she truly belongs. Sounds like we've got some strong female character in this book. I love a good strong female character. Now this is the only one I believe that is not an indie book or is not self-published. This one was done by Angry Robot and it's called Bluebird by Seal Periot. I probably pronounced that wrong. What sold me on this was lesbian gunslingers in space. That's all I needed to know. I've been getting back into space operas or trying to get back into space operas. So I was like, you know what? Yes, lesbian gunslingers in space, space opera, western. We'll give it a go. Who knows when. It sounds like a fun time. It sounds like it doesn't take itself too seriously, which is what I'm looking for. The next three I'm going to do together. I actually saw book 3 advertised, or not advertised. Book 3 was on Rob J. Hayes' list of self-pub for March, and I bought it because I love the cover. I read the blurb, loved the blurb, and then realised that I'd bought book 3. So I had to pick up book 1 and book 2, and the covers on these are so good. I swear, Self-Pub has some of the best covers in the game at the moment. And this is the Dreadbound series by Jordan Loyal Short. This book 1 is the Skald's Black Verse, and that is a skull in the moon. Look at that. That red pops. It is stunning. What a great cover. Whoever designed these covers, just beautiful. I will only give you the blurb of book 1 because, spoilers, I don't want to read the blurb on books 2 and book 3, but I will show them to you. It says, when a soldier's murder sparks rebellion in the tiny village of Skald, Braw's past marks him as the prime suspect. Haunted by his brother's ghosts and drawn into a web of dark pacts and tangled loyalties, Broher must choose between the path of vengeance set before him and a chance to forge his own fate. From the shadows, an all but extinct race of alien demigods have begun the end game of their millennia-spanning war, and one has chosen Broher for his closest gambit. But Broher's grandfather harbours a dark secret that will change everything. Above all, a dread portent looms in the sky. I don't know what any of this stuff means. Spelling the death of Broher's world. With doom spiraling towards them, Bro I can't pronounce it, must lead an unlikely rebellion, unearth disturbing family secrets, and tame the raging ghost that haunts him. It sounds pretty cool. It sounds sci-fantasy-ish. Again, that cover is just stunning. Book number 2 is the Weeping Sigil. Sigil? What you're learning today is that I can't read. Why do I have a booktube channel? And book 3 is Travels in the Dark. Hey, I read all those words. Good on you, Chris. But yeah, I love green. Green is my favourite colour. So I was like, yes, there's a tombstone. The blurb sounded amazing. The next one I picked up was We Are the Dead by Mike Shackle. It is The Last War, book number 1. It says, the war is over. The enemy won. Jai's people learned the hard way that there was no second chances. The Egg Rule, their ancient enemy, struck with magic so devastating that Jai's armies were wiped out. Now terror reigns in the streets, and friend turns on friend just to live another day. Somehow Tinsera, a deserter, a failure, nothing but a coward, survived. She wants no more than to hide from the chaos. But dragged into a desperate plot to retake Jaya, surrounded by people willing to do anything to win the fight, this time Tinsera will need to do more than hide. If Jaya is to get a second chance at all, this time she will need to be the hero. Sounds cool. Lots of people like it. We'll see. The next one I picked up, which you have seen in the recovery vlog, is Waking Ursa Minor. That's going to be very glary in that light. I apologise. And I've talked about this one before, so I'm not going to go too much into detail, but this one may be on my self-pub pick when you choose my May TBR. So look out for that. That is one that you will be able to vote for. That is the same with the next 2 books. The first one being Fangs of War by E.J. Doble. This is the Blood and Steel Saga book number 1. This is making waves at the moment. This author is like 20 and put out a decent sized book, 541 pages, and it's getting rave reviews at the moment. I don't want to read too much about it, so I'm not going to read the blurb for this one. I'm excited to read this at some point. Alright, last but not least, we have A Touch of Like by Tiago Abdallah. That's a cool big old tree with a big old sword. I don't know much about this one, but I know that it was published earlier this year. Love that cover, and I have seen some of the people that I watch pick this one up and really enjoy it, so I am looking forward to giving it a go. The back says, how far would you go to resurrect someone you love? Would you change who you are to show you belong? I don't want to read too much more than that, because this is one that I'm very interested in getting to this year as well. Okay, that was it. That was 26 books for the month of March. I would love to tell you that April has been a better month for me book buying, or on a book buying ban. It has not. I've got 20 so far, and as I'm filming this, it is the 9th. So, we'll see. If you like the content, give it one of these. If you want to see more of it, and click on the subscribe button at your will, and I'll catch you in the next video.